Hi, I'm Dana Barrett, and this is Video Dust Jacket, powered by Business Radio X. As you start the new year, you want to make sure you're arming your sales force with the proper tools. But sometimes it's not about having the right tracking software or a great demo product. It's about knowing who you're selling to. Author Jill Konrath details how to sell the busier, more frazzled prospective client in her new book, Snap Selling. Stone Payton had a chance to sit down with Jill recently in our radio studio to talk about the book.
What compelled you to write another book and write another book now?
What compels me to always write is when I run into sales challenges, and as I actually stop and say, whoa, I don't get this. Something new is happening. And then I study it and I try to figure out what works. And what happened in the last couple of years that has been impacting sales, and really what I've seen has been a major trend, is the fact that people are so crazy busy right now, and every attempt to sell to them is in many cases is rebuffed because they're just too busy to handle and deal with all the things that are on their plate.
One of the things that struck me right off the bat was a subtitle, Speed Up Sales and Win More Business with Today's Frazzled Customers. Of course, here at the High Velocity Radio Show, we have a tremendous affinity for this whole idea of speed, increasing the ratio of results to time invested. But talk to us a little bit more about this challenge that I think we're all beginning to see in working with and trying to serve the frazzled customer.
Yeah, in the book I do call it a frazzled customer syndrome because I think that best described what I was seeing out there. The reality of it is when we are under pressure to do more, to do it faster, to with fewer resources, we become different people. We're not rational and sane decision makers. And I think all of our sales methodology that's out there right now today assumes that this normal human being that has all the time to analyze and study the data and make rational decisions is just sitting at the desk waiting for us to contact them as salespeople. But the reality of it is when you are crazy busy, time is your most precious commodity, and so you protect it at all costs, which means, by the way, that when salespeople are trying to reach you, the decision maker, I'm asking everybody to sit in the role of decision maker right now. When people want your time, when you're crazy busy, you sit with your finger on the delete button when they call you. That's true, though, isn't it?
Yes, that's why I'm laughing. It is true.
Yes. Okay. So you, the decision maker, when you're in the role of the buyer, you sit with your finger on the delete button for the phone messages and the delete button for your email messages. And research shows, by the way, that the average person is taking 2.7 seconds to make a decision on an email message.
Wow.
Before they delete it, decide to continue reading it further, or forward it to somebody else.
So what are some strategies that you found to help you work through this kind of fray?
Well, it starts, in the book I talk about the three primary decisions that a customer makes. And the first decision they make is to allow you access. And they make it in these small and tiny increments. And I'll go back and give some specific examples there. But the second decision they make is to change from the status quo, which, by the way, is the hardest decision for them to make because any change requires more time. It means they have to stop and look and analyze what they're doing. They have to, determine if it's going to make a difference for the organization. They have to look at how to get buy-in to change and everything that's affected. So it's a massive step for them. And then the third decision they make is which vendor or supplier to use. And so each decision has its own things, but I think the easiest one to demonstrate this on is at the very front end, the first part of the decision process, which is the allowing access. And what I typically see people do is to make some real sales derailing mistakes. And you talked about you like speed up sales. Well, mostly what I see people doing is delaying and derailing sales at the very front end. And they do this by using the gracious message or the nice approach. And they don't want to be seen as product-pushing peddlers or self-serving salespeople. They really want to, show that they're consultative and nice and willing to work with people. But it doesn't meet the criteria that the customer is using to evaluate it if it's worth his or her time. SNAP is about the criteria. I think that the essence of what we're doing today is that we're needing to sound like a peer who brings high value on the sales call.